Hey y'all. So, did you know that the George Floyd bill has collapsed in Congress? If you didn't know that, that's why you're here. So, let's go ahead and talk about it. Before we do, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. So, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. Also, you can grab one of these awesome anti-status tees below in my description box. Now, it was only a couple of days ago when I mentioned that I absolutely believe that the George Floyd Act would pass during Joe Biden's time um, as president. But it looks like even I, as objective and sometimes critical as I like to believe myself to be, even I may have given too much grace to this administration. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look right at this story, okay? So this article is according to USA Today. Police talks collapse in Congress, marking end of negotiations spurred by George Floyd's death. A bipartisan group of lawmakers who had been meeting for months behind closed doors trying to reach an agreement on a bill aimed at holding police more accountable for violence in the line of duty have emerged without a deal. The end of negotiations are set back for President Joe Biden, who had made signing policing legislation a priority of his administration. According to a Senate aide familiar with the talks and negotiations, had not made significant improvements in months. The aide told USA Today that Senator Cory Booker made it clear in private conversation Wednesday with Senator Tim Scott that he was done with the talk after Scott rejected his final offer. So he's just over it at this point, okay? The legislation and negotiations were spurred by the death of George Floyd, an unarmed black man who died in Minneapolis police custody last year after a white officer pinned him to the ground under his knee. Negotiations gained steam in the wake of nationwide protests and after former police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted of murder in April. But the talks fizzled over differences in policies. The Democrats at the negotiating table said Republicans kept moving the goalposts on the issues, while Scott insisted Democrats kept pushing for defunding the police policies. The two sides could not meet in the middle on a slew of issues, the aide said. Booker told reporters Wednesday they weren't able to agree on transparency within police departments and how to collect data on use of force, codifying raising professional standards within departments, something President Donald Trump signed an executive order for last June, and establishing a federal standard for accountability. Those differences also included one of the main points of contention throughout the talks, qualified immunity, which still shields police officers from civil liability unless they violate clearly established law. In general, Democrats seek to remove the protection for officers from lawsuits, while Republicans oppose the move. So, if you would like to finish reading this article, I am going to list that for you below, so it's easy for you to find. So, first of all, let's talk about Tim Scott, okay? Now, it's a lot of finger pointing going on, okay? What they're going to tell us in the media is that the reason for the collapse of this bill is due to the Democrats or it's due to the Republicans, and the other side doesn't want to compromise, doesn't want to work together, this, that, and the other. As it relates to Tim Scott, the whole defund the police and this bill attempts to defund the police, I do not believe that that is true based on the information that we have been presented so far as it relates to this bill and as other things have been going on in Congress, okay? Defund the police has become a very easy just thing to say and a very easy thing to just throw at the Democrats as a way to repel people from actually paying attention to what's going on. Okay, this actually happened a lot during the previous presidential campaign. Okay, now, do you have some polarizing figures, some outliers, even some cities that have attempted to or wanted to defund the police. Yes, you do have that on a small scale. But when we look at what's been happening federally, okay, we have the federal government that has said we are going to fund the police more. Joe Biden has been very adamant about we're going to fund the police more. If you take a look at Chicago, you literally have Lori Lightfoot coming out and saying not only are we going to fund the police more, but we're going to use funds from COVID to pay the police more and hire more police. So this is what's actually happening in real time and being inked on paper. So I don't believe, based on any information that we've been presented, that the Democrats were in this bill trying to defund the police. Now, what I do believe is that there is an issue with ending qualified immunity. Ending qualified immunity also is not defunding the police. What it does is it does make it does make police officers personally, and civically responsible, okay, held responsible for the actions of themselves on the job. So that's with Tim Scott. Now, Cory Booker. I find it a little bit odd, and let me know what you guys think, but I do find it a little bit odd that something that took the world by storm last year, something that nobody could stop talking about, we couldn't get away from this discussion, from the protests to the riots, the polarization, to the tension, to the media, to people running their entire campaigns off the name and the back of George Floyd, okay? We couldn't get away from it. Based on everything that we saw last year, and for Cory Booker to just be like, all right, I'm out. I think I'm gonna head out now, okay? Because of, them not completely being able to agree on every in and out of this George Floyd act, and being like, I just think I'm off it. I think it seems a little bit to me like a cop out. I think it seems a little bit like he's giving up kind of easy. And so I'm very interested to see what's going to come of this. Is it just completely dead? Are they going to try to do this a different way? And it leads me to a couple of questions. When it comes to a bill like this, okay, when it comes to something that was attention grabbing and as polarizing as the George Floyd Act, should it be all or nothing? Do you think Cory Booker gave up too easily? And does blue no matter who actually matter if all it takes is for one Republican to dead the bill or an act that was such, that was so attention grabbing? I don't know. I don't know. These are some questions that I have, but what are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.